I was like, are you gonna knock me out? I knew I had to
so
get
so close. Like that double knockout was really close.
Yeah.
When we and then
were you farming?
Huh?
Were you farming?
No.
No? Okay.
I don't think so.
Because I was like, oh, I need to get rid of this Melmetal because my other two Pokemon are weak against it.
That's why I was shielding like crazy. I was trying to keep it alive.
Yeah.
And I think it really came down to after the double knockout, who we played.
Yes. We went into the mirror, right?
And so you played
Azumarill,
and I played Skarmory. If I went into...
Oh, you have no shields.
Yeah. If I went into Venusaur instead, that would have been different because I was forced to switch out of my Venusaur.
Yes, it would have been way different because it would have been in the mirror. Skarmory, right? You probably would.
No, it would have been Azumarill versus Venusaur.
I would have switched.
And you would have switched.
And then you would have switched into Skarmory, right? Would have been mirror, but then we'll eventually switch back into. So
it came down to who we selected.
Yep. And I was like, and if you had Azumarill in against my Skarmory, I think that was the only matchup that I could have pulled that out. And it was just luck at that point. But so I just got really lucky.
Like right before hitting, selecting Skarmory, I was like, I should just let the computer decide which one goes out.
Isn't it the first one?
I think it's random, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't very often just let the computer decide anything.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, that was really close. It really came down to that one decision, because everything else was, the first Pokemon was pretty much a wipe, right? And then, everything from there was just, oh man, that was
that
really
double
good.
KO.
That double KO was really, I was like, I hope I can get this off because I knew I had to get rid of it because I had nothing else, or at least burn 2 shields so my Hydro Pump can go through because you were running Ice Beam Hydro Pump, right? Yeah, and I was running Play Rough Hydro Pump.
I was wondering, like, in the first game, I just kept spamming Ice Beam, hoping that I'd catch you to, like, try to shield. Yeah. I was like, I wondered, is he figuring it out, or is he just not shielding?
Yeah, I figured it out. I was like, okay, the first one I never shield. So that's me personally. I never shield the first one because if it's an Ice Beam, if they have Play Rough, they probably use Play Rough, but I can take at least one Play Rough. If they have Ice Beam Hydro Pump, they have to use one of those two. Both of them are not very effective, so at least I can do some scouting. The second one, if it's the first one's the Ice Beam, second one's the Ice Beam, it's like, okay, probably they probably don't have Play Rough, and even if it was Hydro Pump, like I can still tank that because it's not very effective damage. So that's my thought process, and I was like, okay, the Azumarill mirror comes up way more often than people might think. Especially if you're the one switching in. If you don't have a hard counter to Azumarill, which I have Victory Bell, and Victory Bell against your team is like not good. It has like it has 3 positive matchups, but it loses like the other 3 really badly. So I was like, okay, I gotta figure it out.
Yeah, the first game I was anticipating you to playing Victory Bell.
You were?
Yeah.
A lot of people that have Victory Bell like to play it a lot.
Yeah. And especially when I have like 2 waters and it was set up that it's very tempting for you to play Victory Bell.
It was tempting, but I was like, all right, he's probably wanting me to do it because then you can either sack swap or something like that because Victory Bell knocks out a water Pokemon really fast, especially with Swampert. So he sack swaps, bring in Skarmory, farms my Victory Bell, and then he has a bunch of energy going in Skarm. And the only other Pokemon that I would have that can beat Skarmory is like Lantern, I guess Probopass maybe. But at that point, Skarmory has a lot of energy, and I don't know, it's more of a toss-up at that point. It's not, So that was my thought process, like, oh, I shouldn't use Victory Bell. He has a lot of good counters to it. I don't want to risk it. But in certain situations, I'd be like, throw it in as a wild card because Victory Bell, even in neutral matchups, if you can get an Acid Spray off, it can set up the rest of your Pokemon. Or if you burn a shield and Acid Spray the next Pokemon, then it can set up the next Pokemon to farm energy with a lot of health, especially if it's a Medicham. Yeah, I think Victory Bell isn't more of like knockout, it's more of like setting up. So I feel like Victory Bell should be played early to mid game.
Oh, that's like,
like late game, it's no point because that's when shields are down anyway.
Pretty much. You had to play Victory first or second, and that's why I was trying to set you up with playing it.
I was like, this double, that's what I tried to do too. Like, I have 2 water Pokemon in Azumarill and Lantern, and there's not that many Pokemon types that can beat Lantern other than grass. And I was like, okay, more than likely you're gonna bring grass. I need to bring in Skarmory. And last time we battled, I remember I ran the same lineup twice in a row.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, he might remember that vaguely, so I need to switch it up. So he brought in the counter to my lead last time, which was the Azumarill, and I brought in the counter to that. I don't know. It was just like my thought process. It was like, I wonder if he remembers.
That was very valid, yeah. That was very valid.
GG's, man.
Good game.